The next thing you want to do is take the bolts out that hold the carrier for the axle on the right hand side. The bolts are 16 millimeters. So there's one right there and one right there that I've already taken out. There are bolts holding this bracket in. The bottom two I got with a deep 16 millimeter with a ratchet. And the last one I came through right here. I went around this exhaust pipe with a long extension of 16 millimeter wobbly, hit it with an impact gun, and it came right out. But we could get the rear cat out, the 4 bolts that bolt onto the motor from the bottom, but you can't really reach it, so I think it's going to be easier to get all 4 bolts from the top just by kind of feeling around. Taking a 10 millimeter ratcheting wrench and taking the bolts out that way. And yeah, that's a lot easier way of getting them, so I'm going to get the other 3 out. So it definitely is the way to do it. Getting those out, you'll definitely want a good ratcheting wrench with a swivel head on it to get those back manifold bolts out. So a little more space to work with. I'm going to take this Crossmember out. It's held on by an 18 millimeter right here. $16 millimeters on the back. Next, we're going to take the torque converter bolts out, so just pop this plastic cover out with the screwdriver. Like so. I'm going to take a 1 1/16 wrench or socket to put on the crank. And you're just going to rotate the crank until those bolts appear. Get them squared on the bottom. Like so. Just going to take an extension with an 18 millimeter wobbly on it. Pull those bolts out. They do put blue Loctite on them, so they are, and they're nice and tight. So there's 4 torque converter bolts in total. You'll know you have them all out when you can turn the crank and the flywheel turns, but not the torque converter. Next thing we need to do is take the rest of the bell housing bolts out, the 15 millimeters. There's one last bell housing bolt. It's right above, right there, right above the axle that you need. Housing bolt. I put these two back in actually because when I took the back ones off, the block and transmission separated very easily. So I'm going to leave those two in, lower it down, and then we should be able to hook the motor jack up to it, be able to lift this motor out of here. So. Now that we got a engine hoist hooked up to the motor, we can take these motor mount bolts out, 17 millimeter. Then these two 13 millimeter bolts. The motor mount we can just set to the side. Now I can take those two 15 millimeter bolts out of the bottom on the bell housing. Now the motor is free. Jack under the transmission. Gonna jack the motor up slowly. The only thing I didn't show is you got to take this connector off and the little tab that holds on. And then I also forgot to undo the O2 sensor plug on the back here, but the motor's out. You leave the back cat, leave the power steering pump sitting there, and it does slide out. So thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Have a great day.